The notification popped up on my iPad while I was reviewing quarterly reports at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. My wife Emily's iCloud had just synced. We'd set up family sharing 2 years ago when our daughter Madison started kindergarten. Seemed practical at the time. Shared calendars, shared photos, shared everything. The modern marriage, right? I wasn't snooping. The thumbnail just appeared in my photo stream, and my brain registered what I was seeing before I could look away. Emily, my wife of 8 years, in our bed, with someone who definitely wasn't me. The timestamp read 2:47 p.m. Today. I checked my watch. 11:04 p.m. My hands started shaking so badly I nearly dropped the tablet. I sat there in my home office, the blue light from the screen illuminating my face, and pulled up the full image. Then the next one. And the next. 12 photos in total, each one progressively more damning than the last. The last photo showed them both asleep, tangled in our Egyptian cotton sheets, the ones Emily had insisted we buy from Pottery Barn because we spend a third of our lives in bed, Nathan. Apparently, she'd been spending more than a third lately. The man's face was clearly visible in several shots. I didn't recognize him. Mid-30s, athletic build, dark hair. Professional looking, even naked in my bed. The photos weren't accidental. These were deliberate. Posed. She'd taken selfies with this man the way couples do on vacation. My phone buzzed. Emily. Just leaving book club. Be home in 20. Love you. Book club. Right. I looked at the timestamp again. The photos were from this afternoon. I'd been in back-to-back meetings until 6, then grabbed dinner with a client until 9. Emily had texted me at 3. Hope your day's going well. Madison's at mom's for a sleepover. House is so quiet. Quiet enough for a photo shoot, apparently. My chest felt tight. The home office suddenly seemed too small, the walls pressing in. I'd been in this room when those photos were taken. Well, not literally. I'd been downtown at the office. But I'd been living in this house, this marriage, this life, while my wife was documenting her affair like it was a vacation to Cancun. I stood up, paced to the window. Our neighborhood looked peaceful. Manicured lawns, 2-car garages, the American dream neatly packaged in a cul-de-sac. The Johnsons' house across the street still had their porch light on. Bill Johnson and I had installed a basketball hoop together last summer, drinking beer and talking about the Packers. Normal life. Normal people. Except my life had just detonated, and I was standing in the blast radius trying to figure out which direction the shrapnel had come from. I pulled up Emily's location on Find My Friends. She was actually at Starbucks on Maple Street, where her book club met. So she was there now. The question was, where had she been before? And more importantly, who was the man in my bed? Think, Nathan. Think. I went back to the photos, zoomed in on the background details. Our bedroom, definitely. The painting Emily's sister gave us for our 5th anniversary hung on the wall behind them. The decorative pillows Emily ordered from West Elm were scattered on the floor. Everything familiar, everything mine, violated. Wait. In one photo, I could see part of a tattoo on the man's shoulder. Some kind of symbol or logo. I zoomed in further. It looked like a corporate emblem, maybe? The image was too blurry to make out details. My phone buzzed again. Emily. Actually, I'm grabbing coffee with the girls. Home in 30 instead. Sorry. The lies came so easily to her. I sat back down, forced myself to breathe. Panic wouldn't help. Rage wouldn't help. I needed to think strategically. I was a financial analyst. I solved problems for a living. This was just another problem. An incredibly personal, soul-crushing problem, but still. First question. How long had this been going on? I opened our shared photo stream and started scrolling backward. Nothing obvious at first. Family photos, Madison's soccer games, our trip to Door County in July. Then I saw it. A photo from 6 weeks ago. Emily at what looked like a hotel bar, dressed up, cocktail in hand. The angle was wrong for a selfie. Someone else had taken it. The caption read, "Girls' night, much needed." I remembered that night. She'd said she was meeting her college roommate who was passing through Milwaukee. I'd stayed home with Madison, ordered pizza, watched Encanto for the 100th time. I kept scrolling. Another photo from 2 months ago. Emily in workout clothes, flushed and smiling, at what appeared to be a gym I didn't recognize. We had a family membership at LA Fitness. This wasn't LA Fitness. My stomach churned. How many lies? How many times had I kissed her goodbye, told her I loved her, while she was planning her next rendezvous? The garage door opener hummed to life. She was home early. I had maybe 90 seconds before she walked through the door. I closed the photo stream, opened my laptop, and pulled up a blank spreadsheet, my usual late-night work camouflage. Then I airdropped all 12 photos from the iPad to my personal phone, the one not on our family plan. Deleted them from my recently viewed. Cleared my tracks. The mudroom door opened. "Nathan, you still up?" Her voice sounded normal. Cheerful even. Like she hadn't spent her afternoon in bed with another man. "In the office," I called back, amazed at how steady my voice sounded. Footsteps in the hallway. Then Emily appeared in the doorway, still in her book club outfit. Designer jeans, cashmere sweater, boots. She looked beautiful. She always looked beautiful. "You're working late," she said, walking over to kiss my cheek. I could smell her perfume, the expensive one I'd bought her for Christmas. "Big presentation Friday," I lied, matching her energy. "You know how it is." She squeezed my shoulder. "Don't stay up too late. Come to bed soon?" Our bed, where she'd been with him 7 hours ago. "Yeah," I said. "Just need to finish this analysis." She smiled, yawned, and headed toward our bedroom. I listened to her footsteps fade down the hallway. I had no idea what I was going to do. But I knew one thing with absolute certainty. The woman who just kissed my cheek had no idea that her carefully constructed double life was about to collapse. And I was going to be the one holding the detonator. The morning light filtered through the bedroom blinds in those familiar slanted bars I'd woken up to for 8 years. Emily was already in the shower, humming something I didn't recognize. Some new song she'd picked up somewhere. With someone. I'd slept maybe 90 minutes total, lying there beside her in the dark, listening to her breathe. Every time she shifted in her sleep, my jaw clenched tighter. Around 4 a.m., I'd gone downstairs and sat at the kitchen table with my laptop, searching for divorce attorneys in the Milwaukee area. I'd narrowed it down to 3 names, all with offices downtown, all with stellar reviews for high-conflict cases. High conflict. That was one way to put it. By 6:30, I was showered, dressed, and sitting at the breakfast bar with my coffee when Emily came down. She'd done her hair in those loose waves she knew I liked. Cream sweater, dark jeans, casual perfection. "You're up early," she said, kissing my cheek as she passed. The same perfume from yesterday. The same lips that had... "Couldn't sleep," I said. "True enough." "Big day at work?" "Something like that." She poured herself coffee from the pot I'd made, added her usual splash of oat milk. The domestic choreography we'd perfected over years of marriage. She leaned against the counter, cradling the mug in both hands. "I was thinking," she said, "maybe we could do a wine tasting this weekend. There's that new place in Napa I've been wanting to try. We could make a long weekend of it. Your mom could watch Madison." The audacity of it hit me like a physical blow. Wine tasting. Napa Valley. Just the 2 of us. "Sounds expensive," I said, keeping my voice level. "We deserve it, don't we? When's the last time we did something just for us?" I looked at her over the rim of my coffee mug. Really looked at her. The face I'd kissed on our wedding day. The woman who'd held my hand in the delivery room when Madison was born. The stranger who'd brought another man into our bed yesterday afternoon while I was reviewing quarterly reports in a conference room downtown. Yeah, I said. Maybe we do deserve it. Her smile was radiant. Perfect. I'll look at flights today. She finished her coffee, rinsed the mug, set it in the dishwasher, grabbed her purse and keys from the hook by the garage door. Book club tonight, she said. I'll probably be home around 9. Book club, right. She paused at the door, turned back. For a second, something flickered across her face. Uncertainty? Guilt? Then it was gone, replaced by that familiar smile. Love you, she said. You too. The garage door rumbled open, then closed. Her car pulled out of the driveway. I sat there in the silence of our kitchen, the kitchen we'd renovated 2 years ago, the one with the subway tile backsplash she'd insisted on, and let myself feel it, the full weight of it. Then I pulled out my phone and called the first attorney on my list. The law office of Patterson and Associates occupied the 14th floor of a glass tower in downtown Milwaukee. I'd taken a personal day, told my boss I had a family emergency. Another true statement in a morning full of them. The attorney was a woman named Jennifer Patterson, mid-40s, with sharp eyes behind rimless glasses. She didn't waste time on pleasantries. Tell me what's going on, she said, gesturing to the chair across from her desk. I told her. Showed her the photos on my phone. Watched her face remain professionally neutral as she scrolled through them. These were taken in your home? Our bedroom, yesterday afternoon, while I was at work and our daughter was at her grandmother's. And they synced automatically to your device through family sharing? Yes. She set the phone down, folded her hands on the desk. Wisconsin is a no-fault divorce state, which means infidelity doesn't directly impact the divorce itself. However, it can be relevant in custody discussions and asset division, particularly if marital funds were used to facilitate the affair. I need to know who he is, I said. The man in the photos. I understand, but I'd advise against any direct confrontation or investigation on your part. That can complicate things legally. I'm not going to confront anyone. I just need to know. She studied me for a long moment. I work with a private investigator, former Milwaukee PD, discreet, thorough. If your wife is having an affair, he can document it, identify the other party, establish patterns of behavior. It's all admissible in court if needed. How long would that take? Depends. Could be days, could be weeks. Most affairs have patterns. She goes somewhere regularly, sees someone consistently. If she thinks you're unaware, she'll be less careful. I thought about Emily's book club tonight, her suggestion of a wine tasting weekend in Napa Valley. She mentioned wanting to go to wine country this weekend. Napa. Make a long weekend of it. Jennifer's eyebrow raised slightly. Interesting timing. I assume this is a trip you'd take together? That's what she said. But you're wondering if she has other plans. I'm wondering everything right now. She pulled a business card from her desk drawer, slid it across to me. Michael Brennan. Tell him I sent you. He'll start surveillance today if you want. In the meantime, I need you to gather financial records, bank statements, credit card bills, anything showing expenditures over the past 6 months. Look for hotels, restaurants, unusual charges. Don't confront your wife. Don't change your behavior. Don't let on that you know anything. I can do that. One more thing. She leaned forward slightly. I need to ask this directly. Are you planning any kind of retaliation against your wife or the other man? I'm planning a divorce. That's not what I asked. I met her eyes. I'm not going to do anything illegal. That's also not what I asked. The silence stretched between us. Finally, she sat back. My job is to protect your interest in a divorce proceeding. I can't do that effectively if you create legal complications for yourself. Whatever you're feeling right now, and I imagine it's a lot, don't let it push you into decisions you'll regret. Understood? Understood. She didn't look convinced, but she nodded. I'll draw up a retainer agreement. We'll get you through this, Nathan. But we do it the right way. I called Michael Brennan from my car in the parking garage. He had the kind of voice you'd expect from former law enforcement. Measured, professional, seen it all. Jennifer says you need surveillance. My wife. I need to know where she goes, who she sees. Starting when? Today, tonight. She says she has book club at 9. I don't think she has book club. Address? I gave him our home address, described Emily's car, sent him a photo of her from my phone. I'll pick her up when she leaves your house tonight, he said. Standard rate is $150 an hour, 4-hour minimum. You want photos, video, location tracking, the works? Everything. You got it. I'll send you a contract and invoice. One thing, if she spots me, if she knows she's being followed, the whole thing's blown. So whatever happens tonight, you stay home. Act normal. Don't call her. Don't text her. Don't give her any reason to think something's off. I can do that. People say that, but it's harder than you think. You're going to be sitting there wondering where she is, what she's doing, who she's with. Your mind's going to go to dark places. You're going to want to check in, see if she's okay. Don't. Let me do my job. Okay. I'll be in touch. He hung up. I sat there in my car, surrounded by concrete pillars and fluorescent lights, and thought about Emily getting ready for her book club tonight. Choosing her outfit, doing her makeup, lying to my face with that perfect smile. My phone buzzed. A text from Emily. Found a great deal on flights to San Francisco, Friday to Monday. I'll book it? I stared at the message. Friday was 3 days away. 3 days to figure out what was really happening. 3 days to decide what to do about it. I typed back, sounds good. Book it. Her response came immediately. Perfect. This is going to be so good for us. Love you. I didn't respond to that one. Just put the phone away and started the car. Tonight, Michael Brennan would follow my wife to wherever she was really going. And I would sit at home, waiting, acting normal, while my marriage disintegrated in real time. But first, I had financial records to gather, bank statements to review, credit card bills to examine, evidence to collect. The right way, Jennifer had said. I'd give her the right way. For now. The text from Brennan arrived at 9:47 p.m. Subject entering residence in Highway 41. Male companion. White BMW. Plates running now. I stared at my phone in the darkened living room. The TV played some nature documentary I wasn't watching. Madison was asleep upstairs, finally settled after Emily had read her 3 bedtime stories and kissed her goodnight like Mother of the Year. My phone buzzed again. Plates registered to Derek Callahan, 34, address in Shorewood. Corporate VP at Brennan Industries. Sending photo. The image loaded. Parking lot security lighting illuminated a man in business casual, khakis, blue Oxford shirt, walking beside Emily toward the hotel entrance. Dark hair, athletic build, confident stride. His hand rested on the small of her back. The tattoo. The corporate emblem I'd seen on his shoulder in those photos. Brennan Industries. I pulled up their website on my laptop. Manufacturing company, mid-sized, headquarters in Brookfield. Leadership page loaded. There he was. Derek Callahan, Vice President of Operations. Professional headshot, polished smile, wedding ring clearly visible. Wedding ring. I clicked through to his LinkedIn. Married to Stephanie Callahan, 2 kids, lived in Shorewood. His profile showed him at some charity golf tournament, arm around a blonde woman in a sundress. His wife. My phone buzzed. They've checked in. Room 237. Want me to stay? I typed back, how long have you been doing this? 15 years. In your experience, how long do these usually last? The response took a minute. Hour to 90 minutes on a weeknight. They have lives to get back to. I checked the time. 9:52 p.m. Emily had left at 7:30, claiming book club ran until 10:30 tonight because they were discussing a really long novel. Some epic fantasy series I'd never heard of. She'd even showed me the book on her Kindle, had it queued up with highlighting and notes, the preparation, the layers of deception. Stay until she leaves. I want timestamps. Copy that. I sat in the darkness, documentary narrator droning about migration patterns, and pulled up Stephanie Callahan's Facebook page. Privacy settings were loose. I could see everything. Recent post from this evening, girls' night with my favorite people. Photo of her and 3 other women at some wine bar, all holding glasses, laughing. Posted at 8:15 p.m. She had no idea her husband was 3 miles away in a hotel room with my wife. I took a screenshot, saved it to a folder on my laptop labeled Tax Documents 2019. Already had 43 items in there. Bank statements showing cash withdrawals Emily couldn't explain. Credit card charges at restaurants we'd never been to together. Text message screenshots where her book club friend Jessica used phrases no woman would use. Location data from Find My Friends showing her phone at hotels, parking lots, addresses that meant nothing to me. And now, Derek Callahan. Name, face, employer, home address, wife's name, kids' school district. The PI had been worth every penny of the $2,500 retainer. My phone buzzed. Madison's baby monitor app. I pulled it up. She'd rolled over, kicked off her blanket. I watched her on the screen for a moment, sleeping peacefully in her room with the butterfly nightlight, surrounded by stuffed animals and picture books. Completely unaware that her family was disintegrating. I went upstairs quietly, tucked the blanket around her, kissed her forehead. She smelled like the lavender shampoo Emily used on her hair. My daughter. The only thing in this house that still felt real. Back downstairs, I opened my laptop and started a new document. Napa Valley Research. Emily had been pushing the trip hard, sent me links to wineries, bed and breakfasts, restaurants. We need this, Nathan. Just the 2 of us. Reconnect. She'd already requested the time off work, had her mother lined up to watch Madison. I pulled up the first winery she'd suggested. Castellano Estate. Boutique vineyard, exclusive tastings, private tours available. Their website showed sun-drenched hillsides, oak barrels, elegant tasting rooms. I clicked on private experiences. Premium package, $500 per couple, includes personal sommelier, barrel room access, vertical tastings, intimate vineyard pairing sessions. Intimate vineyard pairing sessions. I scrolled through the photo gallery. Couples on terraces overlooking vines. Private tables set for 2. A sommelier pouring wine in what looked like a wine cave, romantic lighting, secluded. My phone buzzed. Subject departing. 10:31 p.m. Male companion staying. So Derek got to sleep there. Emily had to come home, slip into bed beside me, probably shower first to wash off the hotel soap and his cologne. I checked Find My Friends. Emily's dot was moving, heading south on Highway 41. She'd be home in 20 minutes. I closed the laptop, turned off the TV, headed upstairs. Brushed my teeth, changed into the t-shirt and sweatpants I slept in. Climbed into our bed. My bed, her bed. The bed where she'd brought him while I was analyzing quarterly reports, and our daughter was eating animal crackers at Grandma's house. Egyptian cotton sheets. 800 thread count. Emily had insisted on them. We spend a third of our lives in bed, Nathan. We should invest in quality. quality. I turned off the bedside lamp, lay in the darkness, and waited. Her car pulled into the garage at 10:54 p.m. I heard the door from the garage to the kitchen open and close. Soft footsteps. Water running in the downstairs bathroom. The stairs creaking as she climbed. She slipped into the bedroom quietly, probably thinking I was asleep. I heard her clothes rustle as she undressed, then the bathroom door closed. Shower turned on. 15 minutes later, she emerged in her nightgown, smelling like our lavender body wash, hair damp. She slid into bed beside me. "You awake?" she whispered. I didn't answer, kept my breathing steady even. She settled in, her back to me. Within minutes, her breathing slowed, deepened. She fell asleep. Just like that. Came home from another man's bed and fell asleep beside her husband without a moment's hesitation. I stared at the ceiling in the darkness, listening to her breathe, and thought about Napa Valley. Thursday morning, I called Castellano Estate from my office at work. "Thank you for calling Castellano Estate Winery. This is Sophie speaking. How may I help you?" "Hi, Sophie. I'm planning a surprise trip for my wife's birthday next month, and I wanted to inquire about your private tasting experiences." "Wonderful. We'd love to host you. Are you looking at a specific date?" I gave her the weekend Emily had suggested. "I saw on your website you offer intimate pairing sessions. Can you tell me more about those?" "Absolutely. Our intimate pairings are conducted by our head sommelier, Vincent Castellano. He takes couples into our private wine cave for a personalized vertical tasting, usually 5 to 7 wines paired with artisanal cheeses and charcuterie. It's very exclusive. We only do 2 sessions per day, and they're limited to 1 couple at a time. Very romantic setting." "Sounds perfect. How do I book?" "I can help you with that. Let me pull up our calendar for that weekend." Keyboard clicking. "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. That Saturday is actually already fully booked. We have a couple coming in from, let me see, Wisconsin, actually. Small world. But I do have Sunday available, or the following weekend is wide open." Wisconsin couple. That weekend. The couple from Wisconsin. Do you happen to have their names? My wife and I have friends who mentioned visiting Napa around that time. Wouldn't that be funny if it was them? "Oh, I really shouldn't." She paused. "Well, I suppose it's not confidential information. The reservation is under Emily Patterson and Derek Callahan. 2 separate bookings, actually, but they requested the joint intimate pairing session. Emily Patterson, her maiden name. Not our friends, then. Different people. Thanks anyway. Would you like to book the Sunday session instead? Let me check with my wife and call you back." I hung up. Emily Patterson and Derek Callahan. Separate bookings. Joint intimate pairing session. The Napa trip wasn't for us. It was for them. Or she was going to take me along as cover, probably ditch me at some point. "Why don't you go golfing, honey, while I do a spa day? And spend Saturday afternoon in a wine cave with Derek." Or maybe she wasn't planning to take me at all. Maybe the whole thing was a test, see if I'd agree to the trip. Then she'd manufacture some reason I couldn't go. Work emergency, Madison getting sick, something. I pulled up my email and found the message Emily had sent me Tuesday night. Subject line, Napa dreaming. Body text gushed about reconnecting, rediscovering each other, romantic getaway, much needed escape. I hit reply. "Book the time off. Let's do it. Can't wait." Sent. Then I opened a new browser window and searched for Napa Valley sommelier Vincent Castellano. The sommelier at Bella Vista Winery looked exactly like his LinkedIn photo. Late 30s, wire-rimmed glasses, perpetual expression of someone who took wine far too seriously. His name was Trevor Ashford, and according to his professional profile, he'd worked at wineries in Burgundy and Tuscany before settling in Napa Valley 3 years ago. I'd spent the last 2 days learning everything about him. His certifications, his published articles on terroir and tannins. The pretentious blog where he compared wine characteristics to classical music compositions. The man loved his job, loved his expertise, loved being the gatekeeper to exclusive experiences. Perfect. I arrived at Bella Vista Winery 40 minutes before Emily's scheduled intimate pairing session with Derek. The property sprawled across rolling hills, perfectly manicured rows of grapevines stretching toward distant mountains. The tasting room occupied a converted stone barn, all exposed beams and Edison bulbs, with a massive oak bar dominating one wall. Trevor stood behind that bar, polishing glasses with a white cloth, his movements precise and practiced. "Welcome to Bella Vista," he said, looking up with the practiced warmth of someone in hospitality. "Do you have a reservation?" "Actually, I'm here about a reservation." I pulled out my wallet, extracted 5 crisp $100 bills and placed them on the bar. "My wife Emily Patterson has a 2 o'clock booking today. Intimate pairing session for 2. Trevor's expression shifted. Not quite alarm, but definite wariness. His eyes flicked to the money, then back to my face. "I'm not sure I can discuss other guest reservations, sir." I added 3 more hundreds to the stack. "I'm not asking you to cancel it. I just want information. How many times has she been here with him?" The silence stretched. Trevor's hand had stopped polishing the glass. "This is my wife we're discussing," I said quietly. "The man she's bringing isn't me. I think that entitles me to some answers, don't you?" Trevor set down the glass, picked up the money, counted it, then looked at me with something that might have been sympathy. Or maybe just the pragmatic calculation of someone who'd just made $800 for a conversation. "6 times," he said. "First visit was mid-January. They've been coming every 3 weeks, give or take. Always books under Patterson, always requests me specifically for the pairing sessions." January, 3 months. Longer than I'd thought. What exactly happens during these intimate pairing sessions? Trevor shifted his weight. "It's a premium experience. Private tasting room, carefully curated wine selection, artisanal cheese and charcuterie boards. The session lasts 2 hours. Very exclusive, very private." "Private enough for what exactly?" "I serve the wines, explain the pairings, then give them space to enjoy the experience. I check in periodically, but mostly they're alone." He paused. "The room has a couch, soft lighting. It's designed for romance." Of course it was. "And you've seen them together. How do they act?" Trevor's jaw tightened. "Like people having an affair, sir." "I'm sorry, but that's the truth. Very affectionate. Comfortable with each other. She calls him Derek. He calls her M. They laugh a lot, drink a lot. Last visit, I came back to check on them, and they were..." He trailed off. "They were what?" "On the couch. I knocked first. They were decent by the time I entered, but it was obvious I'd interrupted something." The tightness in my chest had become familiar over the past week. I breathed through it. "Does she ever mention a husband, a daughter?" "Never. I assumed she was single until you walked in." Trevor's expression had shifted to something like disgust. "She wears a ring, but I've seen plenty of married people remove them for these visits. I didn't see one on her." She took off her wedding ring. The details shouldn't have mattered. The affair itself was the betrayal. But somehow that small fact cut deeper than I expected. "One more question," I said. "Your reservation book, the one where you track these appointments. Can I see it?" Trevor hesitated, then reached under the bar and produced a leather-bound ledger. Old school, handwritten entries in neat script. He opened it to today's date. There it was. 2:00 p.m. Patterson, intimate pairing for 2. Preferred sommelier, Trevor Ashford. I flipped backward through the pages. January 18th, February 3rd, February 24th, March the 15th, April 5th. Each entry identical except for the dates. A documented timeline of betrayal written in elegant cursive. "Can I take a photo of these pages?" Trevor glanced toward the door, then nodded. "Quickly." I pulled out my phone and photographed each entry. 6 dates, 6 intimate sessions. 6 times my wife had driven 3 hours to Napa Valley to drink wine and do God knows what else with Derek Callahan on a couch in a private tasting room. "They'll be here in 30 minutes, Trevor said, checking his watch. "You should probably—" "I know." I pocketed my phone. "Thank you for your honesty." "What are you going to do?" Good question. Jennifer Patterson had been very clear about avoiding confrontation, about not doing anything that could be used against me in court. But standing here, looking at that reservation book, feeling the weight of 3 months of systematic deception, Jennifer's legal advice felt very far away. "I'm going to sit in my car and wait," I said. "I want to see them arrive together. I want to see her face when she walks in here with him." Trevor looked uncomfortable. "Sir, I don't think—" "Relax. I'm not going to cause a scene. I just need to see it with my own eyes. The photos weren't enough. The PI reports weren't enough. I need to watch her walk through that door with him." I left before Trevor could argue further, walked across the gravel parking lot to my rental car, a nondescript silver sedan I'd picked up at the airport that morning. I'd told Emily I was flying to Chicago for a last-minute client meeting. She'd believed me without question, probably relieved to have me out of the way for her romantic weekend. The irony wasn't lost on me. I parked 3 rows back, angled so I could see the tasting room entrance clearly. Then I waited. 11 minutes later, Derek's black Audi pulled into the lot. I'd seen the car in Michael Brennan's surveillance photos, but seeing it in person felt different. More real. More final. Emily sat in the passenger seat, laughing at something Derek had said. Even from this distance, I could see her smile. The genuine one. Not the polite version she'd been giving me lately. She wore a sundress I'd never seen before, her hair loose around her shoulders. They got out of the car. Derek walked around to her side, took her hand. She leaned into him as they walked toward the entrance, his arm around her waist, her head on his shoulder. Comfortable. Natural. Like they'd done this 100 times. Like they belonged together. I watched them disappear into the tasting room, watched Trevor greet them with his professional smile, watched Emily kiss Derek's cheek before they followed Trevor down a hallway toward the private tasting rooms. My hands were shaking. I gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles went white. Think, Nathan. Think. I could walk in there right now, confront them both, pour their carefully curated wines over their heads, make them face what they'd done. Or I could stick to the plan. I pulled out my phone and called Michael Brennan. "I'm at the winery," I said when he answered. "They just arrived. I need you to do something for me." "What kind of something?" "The kind that might not be strictly legal. The kind Jennifer doesn't need to know about." A pause. Then, "I'm listening." The tasting room door clicks shut behind them, and I'm alone with Trevor in the hushed corridor lined with oak barrels. The sommelier's expression shifts from professional courtesy to something harder. "How much did you hear?" I ask. "Enough." He pulls a leather-bound reservation book from beneath the counter. "Been keeping this separate from the digital system. Mr. Brennan specifically requested it." The pages reveal 6 months of deception in elegant cursive. Every 3rd Friday, the same notation. Private reserve tasting. Callahan, guest, intimate pairing menu. The most recent entries include wine selections I recognize from our home cellar. Emily's been recreating their tastings in our dining room. The vintner, Charles Ashford, he's my cousin, Trevor says. He's been personally handling their visits. Premium experience. Candlelit barrel room. The works. My jaw tightens. "Where's this barrel room?" "Back of the property, but Mr. Nathan." I study the reservation book, photographing each page with my phone. "And I'm not going back there." "Not yet." Trevor watches me work. "The 500 you gave me?" That buys my silence about this conversation. But I've got something else you might want. He produces a wine key from his vest pocket, then reaches beneath the counter for a bottle. 2019 Bella Vista Reserve Cabernet. The label features Charles Ashford's signature. Your wife ordered a case last month. Had it shipped to your home address. Trevor sets down a second item, a printed invoice. She's been buying their relationship wines for your cellar. This particular vintage, they bottled it the day of their first visit here. The invoice total makes my stomach drop. $1,800. Charged to our joint credit card. I'd seen the line item, assumed it was for a dinner party Emily mentioned hosting. Book club friends. She'd canceled it last minute, claimed someone got sick. There's more, Trevor continues. Charles has been developing a private label for them. Custom blend, their initials on the bottle. EC and DC intertwined. He's planning to present it during their next visit. When? 2 weeks from now, same day you and your wife were supposedly coming here together. The pieces align with sickening clarity. Emily never intended to spend that weekend with me. She'd planned to get sick, or manufacture some excuse to send me home early, then stay for her real reservation with Derek. Trevor slides the reservation book across the counter. Take it. Charles keeps everything in the digital system anyway. He won't notice it's missing for weeks. I palm the book, feeling its weight. Physical evidence. Jennifer will appreciate this. One more thing, Trevor's voice drops. The barrel room where they meet? Charles stores his premium reserve stock there. Temperature controlled, humidity monitored. Each barrel represents about $25,000 in potential revenue. He's got 30 barrels aging in that room. The math calculates automatically in my analyst brain. $750,000. Why are you telling me this? Trevor's expression hardens. Because Charles is screwing my fiancé. Has been for 3 months. I found out last week. He pulls out his phone, shows me a photo of a blonde woman with Charles Ashford, their body language unmistakable. He thinks I don't know. Thinks I'm just the help. We stand in mutual understanding. 2 men betrayed by people who underestimated us. The barrel room locks from the outside, Trevor says carefully. Old-fashioned deadbolt. And the security cameras? They've been malfunctioning lately. Maintenance keeps meaning to fix them. He sets a key on the counter between us. I'm going home, I say, pocketing the reservation book. Taking the red-eye back to Milwaukee tonight. Of course. Trevor doesn't touch the key. And I'm going to dinner with my fiancé in town. Won't be back here until morning. I leave the key where it sits. The drive back to San Francisco takes 90 minutes through dark wine country. I call Michael Brennan from the car. They're still in there, I tell him. How long until they come out? These tastings run 2 hours usually. You've got time. His voice carries a question he doesn't ask. I need you to source some materials, industrial-grade epoxy resin, fast curing, and about 200 feet of grapevine cuttings. What are we doing, Nathan? Preserving evidence. The barrels where they've been meeting, I want them sealed, permanently. And Derek's rental car needs some landscaping. Michael's quiet for a moment. That's property destruction, criminal mischief at minimum. I know. Your attorney specifically said, I know what Jennifer said. The highway stretches ahead, headlights cutting through fog rolling in from the coast. But Emily's been buying their affair wine with our money, storing it in our home, making me drink it at dinner while she smiled and talked about her day. The divorce will handle this. You'll get everything. I don't want everything. My hands tighten on the wheel. I want them to know what it feels like to have something precious ruined, contaminated, made worthless. Michael exhales. The epoxy will destroy the barrels, make the wine undrinkable. We're talking felony vandalism. Can you source the materials or not? Another pause. There's a hardware store off Highway 29, 24-hour. And I know a vineyard worker who can get cuttings. No questions asked. Meet me there in 40 minutes. Nathan, if you get caught, I won't. The certainty in my voice surprises me. Trevor's giving me a 3-hour window. No cameras, no witnesses. I'll be on a plane before anyone knows. And the grapevines? Derek's car. I want it covered, wrapped, strangled in vines by morning. Michael makes a sound that might be approval. Poetic. Stupid, but poetic. Can you do it? I can do anything. Question is whether you can live with it. I think about Emily in our bed. Derek's hands on her. The reservation book full of intimate pairings while I was home with Madison, reading bedtime stories and believing in my marriage. I can live with it. Then I'll see you in 40. The hardware store is exactly where Michael said, a sprawling warehouse of a place that caters to vineyard operations. I find him in the adhesives aisle, examining epoxy options. This one. He holds up a 2-gallon container. Sets in 30 minutes, fully cured in 2 hours. Waterproof, permanent bond. You pour this into a barrel bung, it'll seal tighter than the wood itself. How many do we need? 30 barrels. 6 containers should do it. Maybe 8 to be safe. I load 8 containers into the cart. Add a case of disposable gloves, a funnel, a pry bar for removing bungs. The vines are in my truck, Michael says. Fresh cuttings from a Pinot Noir vineyard. Still got leaves and tendrils. They'll wrap around anything. At checkout, the clerk doesn't blink at the purchase. Probably thinks we're doing some vineyard maintenance project. I pay cash. Back at Bella Vista, the parking lot is empty except for Derek's rental, a silver Audi sedan, and Emily's car. Trevor's vehicle is gone. The tasting room windows glow warm against the night, but I can't see inside from this angle. Michael parks his truck beside mine. Last chance to walk away. Instead, I grab the epoxy containers. The barrel room key fits perfectly. Inside, the space is exactly as Trevor described. Temperature controlled, humidity monitored, 30 oak barrels arranged in neat rows. Each one marked with chalk notations indicating the vintage, blend, aging timeline. In the corner, a small table set for 2. Wine glasses still holding dark red remnants. Candles burned down to nubs. A blanket draped over a leather settee. My vision tunnels. Nathan. Michael's hand on my shoulder. Focus. We've got 2 hours. I start with the barrel nearest the table. Pop the bung with the pry bar. Mix the epoxy according to package directions. Pour it in. The resin flows thick and viscous, sealing the opening. 30 seconds, and it's already beginning to set. We work methodically, barrel after barrel. The chemical smell fills the room, acrid and permanent. The epoxy gun clatters against the concrete floor as Michael grabs my arm. Someone's coming. We freeze behind the barrel rack. Footsteps echo through the cellar. Light, quick, feminine. Not Emily. The rhythm's wrong. A woman appears at the far end of the aisle, silhouetted against the dim lighting. Blonde hair pulled back, wearing the winery's signature burgundy vest. She's carrying a tablet and checking something on the screen. Michael's hand tightens on my shoulder. We're cornered behind 50 barrels worth more than my house. The epoxy's already setting in 3 of them. No way to undo what we've done. The woman moves closer, scanning barrel numbers against her tablet. She's doing inventory. Of course she is. It's a working winery, not a movie set where everyone conveniently disappears when you need them to. Barrel 47, 48, she murmurs. We're hiding behind barrel 52. Michael pulls out his phone, types something. My pocket vibrates. I check the screen. Fire alarm. 30 seconds. Move when she runs. I shake my head. That's insane. The alarm screams through the building. The woman's head snaps up. She hesitates for maybe 2 seconds, then sprints toward the exit. Her footsteps fade as the alarm continues its mechanical shriek. Now! Michael's already moving, pulling me toward the opposite door. We emerge into the service corridor, following the emergency exit signs. Behind us, I hear voices, confusion, people evacuating. We burst through a side door into the vineyard. The afternoon sun hits my face like an accusation. In the distance, I can see the main building emptying. Staff, visitors, everyone streaming onto the lawn. Emily and Derek will be out there, somewhere in that crowd. Michael leads me through the vine rows, keeping low. We circle wide around the building, heading back toward the parking lot. The alarm continues wailing. No smoke, no fire, just chaos. The car, I say. We still need to... Done. What? While you were playing Vintner, I wrapped Callahan's Porsche. The grapevines are already setting in the California sun. Give it an hour, those suckers will be grafted to his paint job. We reach Michael's rental, a nondescript gray sedan parked 3 rows back from Derek's vine-covered Porsche. Even from here, I can see the thick ropes of grapevine woven through the door handles, wrapped around the mirrors, threaded through the wheel wells. It looks like the car is being reclaimed by the earth. How did you... 20 years of PI work. You learned to multitask. Michael starts the engine. Now we leave, before someone checks the security footage. He's right. We should go. We should be halfway to the airport before anyone discovers the barrels. But I can see the crowd on the lawn. Staff members talking to guests, reassuring them. Someone's probably already calling the fire department. And somewhere in that mass of people are Emily and Derek, standing too close together, sharing worried glances, maybe even holding hands where no one's looking. Wait, I pull out my phone. One more thing. I open the camera app, zoom in on Derek's car. The vines are perfect, thick, aggressive, almost artistic in their destruction. I take 3 photos from the different angles. Then I send them to Emily. No message, just the photos. Michael pulls out of the parking space. You just couldn't help yourself. She needs to know. She'll know when she sees the car. She needs to know I know. We're halfway down the winery's long driveway when my phone rings. Emily's photo fills the screen. Her and Madison at the beach last summer, both of them laughing. I'd taken that picture. I'd been there. I answer. Nathan. Her voice is tight, confused. Where are you? Why did you send me pictures of Derek's? She stops. Realizes what she's just said. Derek's car, I finish. That's what you were about to say. Silence. In the background, I can hear the alarm, voices, confusion. I don't understand, she says finally. What are you doing? I'm in Napa, at Bella Vista, enjoying the view. More silence. Then, you need to come home. We need to talk about this. About what? Your book club? Your intimate pairing sessions? The custom blend you're creating with your boyfriend? I can hear her breathing change. Nathan, please. Let me explain. Trevor already explained. Nice guy. Recently divorced. His wife was doing the same thing you are. He was very sympathetic. Who's Trevor? Your sommelier. The one who's been serving you and Derek for 6 months. The one who showed me the reservation book. Intimate pairings for 2. Very romantic. The car's quiet except for the road noise and Emily's ragged breathing through the phone. I can see you, I say. On the lawn, blue dress, standing next to a man in a gray suit. That would be Derek, right? Derek Callahan. VP at Brennan Industries. Married. 2 kids. Lives in Oakbrook. Oh my God, her voice breaks. Nathan, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It just happened. It didn't just happen. You planned trips. You made reservations under your maiden name. You bought wine with our money. You had sex with him in our bed while our daughter was at your mother's house. How did you... iCloud, family sharing. Your photos synced to my iPad. I hear her sob. Part of me, the part that loved her for 8 years, that married her, that built a life with her, wants to comfort her, wants to fix this. The rest of me remembers the photos, the reservation book, the custom wine blend with their initials intertwined. The barrels, I say. The ones aging your special blend. I'd check on those if I were you. What did you do? What you did? I made sure something precious couldn't be salvaged. Michael glances at me, eyebrows raised. I ignore him. Nathan, please, come home. We can work through this. For Madison. For our family. Our family. I laugh, and it sounds wrong even to me. You destroyed our family when you brought him into our bed. You destroyed it every time you lied about book club. You destroyed it when you planned a Napa trip with him using my credit card. I'll end it, right now. I'll tell him it's over. We can go to counseling. We can check the barrels, Emily. Then check Derek's car. Then call your lawyer. Mine's already got all the documentation she needs. I hang up. Michael drives in silence for a mile, maybe 2. The vineyard disappears behind us, replaced by rolling hills and California sunshine. Feel better? He asks finally. No. Good. You shouldn't. What we just did was criminal vandalism. Probably felony level, depending on how much wine we ruined. I know. They'll have security footage. They'll figure it out. I know. Your lawyer's going to kill you. Probably. We reach the highway. Michael merges into traffic, heading towards San Francisco International. My phone buzzes. A text from Emily. Please don't do this. Think about Madison. I am thinking about Madison. I'm thinking about what kind of father I'd be if I let this slide. What kind of man? What kind of example? Another buzz. This time it's a photo. Emily's face, tears streaming, mascara running. The message, I love you. I made a mistake. Please. I delete it. A third buzz. Unknown number. The message. This is Derek. We need to talk. Man to man. I forward it to Michael. Ballsy, he says. Stupid. My phone rings again. Jennifer Patterson, my attorney? I answer. Tell me you didn't just vandalize a winery in California. Her voice could cut glass. How did you... Emily's attorney just called me. Apparently she called him from the winery. Hysterical. Something about destroyed wine and grapevines and you being in Napa. I was just, don't tell me anything. I don't want to know. I can't represent you if I know you committed a crime. So what do? You get on a plane. You come home. You say nothing to anyone. And you pray that winery doesn't press charges. She hangs up. Michael looks at me. Airport? Airport. We drive. My phone keeps buzzing. Emily, Derek, numbers I don't recognize. I turn it off. The revenge tasted sweet for about 10 minutes. Now it just tastes like ash. The divorce was finalized on a Tuesday in October, 6 months after that trip to Napa. No dramatic courtroom showdown. No last-minute reconciliation. Just signatures on documents in a conference room with bad coffee and fluorescent lighting. Emily got the house. I didn't fight her for it. Couldn't stand the thought of sleeping in that bedroom anyway. She also got her car, half the retirement accounts, and a payment schedule that would take me 3 years to complete. I got Madison every other week, alternating holidays, and 6 weeks in the summer. I got my dignity back. I got to sleep at night. The winery never pressed charges. Turns out Trevor had been more thorough than I'd realized. The security footage from that day had mysteriously corrupted. All of it. The fire alarm malfunction was blamed on faulty wiring. The ruined barrels were written off as a temperature control failure. Charles Ashford quietly absorbed the loss and increased his insurance coverage. Derek Callahan's marriage didn't survive either. His wife Stephanie found out about the affair when Emily called her. A last-ditch attempt to blow up Derek's life the way hers was imploding. It worked. Stephanie filed 2 weeks after I did. Derek got to explain to his kids why Daddy was moving into an apartment. Emily and Derek didn't end up together. Turns out affairs don't transition well into real relationships when they're built on lies and hotel rooms. They lasted maybe 6 weeks after everything came out. Last I heard, Derek moved to Phoenix for work. Emily's still in our old house dating someone from her gym. I moved into a 2-bedroom condo in Shorewood, close enough to Madison's school that she could walk there on my weeks. Spent a month painting her room the exact shade of purple she wanted. Built her a bookshelf. Learned to braid her hair through YouTube tutorials and practice. Jennifer Patterson sent me a bill for $47,000. Worth every penny. She got me joint custody when Emily's attorney was pushing for primary placement. She kept the asset division equitable when it could have been devastating. She never once said, "I told you so," about Napa, though I knew she wanted to. Michael Brennan and I stayed in touch. He sent me a bottle of wine for Christmas, not from Bella Vista. The card read, "For drinking, not destroying." I laughed for the first time in months. Madison adjusted better than I expected. Kids are resilient, people kept telling me, and I hated that platitude until I saw it was true. She cried sometimes, asked questions I didn't know how to answer, but she also thrived in her purple room, made new routines, learned that love doesn't disappear just because parents live in different houses. On my first Christmas as a divorced dad, Madison and I made cookies at midnight because we'd forgotten to do it earlier. We got flour everywhere, burned the first batch, ate way too much dough. She fell asleep on the couch with frosting in her hair, and I carried her to bed thinking, this is enough. This small, imperfect moment is enough. I never remarried. Dated a few people over the years, nothing serious. Trust takes time to rebuild, and I wasn't in a hurry. Madison became my focus, her soccer games, her school plays, her teenage dramas. Being her father mattered more than finding someone new to share my bed. Sometimes people ask if I regret what I did in Napa. The honest answer is complicated. I regret the crime. I regret risking my custody arrangement for revenge. I regret putting Jennifer in a position where she had to defend the indefensible. But I don't regret making Emily and Derek face consequences. I don't regret refusing to be the nice guy who quietly absorbed betrayal. I don't regret showing Madison even indirectly that self-respect matters. The real lesson wasn't about revenge or justice or even infidelity. It was simpler than that. You can't control what other people do. You can only control how you respond. And sometimes the right response isn't the legal one, the smart one, or the one your attorney recommends. Sometimes it's just the response you can live with. I think about that afternoon in the barrel room occasionally. The chemical smell of epoxy, the weight of what I was destroying, the certainty that I was crossing a line I couldn't uncross. Would I do it again, knowing what I know now? Probably not. But I don't lose sleep over it either. Madison's 17 now, applying to colleges, already talking about moving away. Emily and I manage civil conversations at parent-teacher conferences. We coordinate schedules, split expenses, show up for our daughter. It's not the family I imagined on my wedding day, but it's honest. No lies, no secret phone calls, no wondering where she really is. That's worth more than any marriage built on deception. The other day, Madison asked me about relationships. She's dating someone, a kid from her AP history class. She wanted to know how you can tell if someone really loves you. I thought about all the things I could say. About trust and communication and shared values. About actions matching words. About the difference between infatuation and commitment. Instead, I told her, you'll know because they won't make you question it. Real love doesn't require detective work. She nodded, satisfied with that answer in a way that made me think she already knew it was true. And maybe that's the real ending to this story. Not the divorce, not the revenge, not even the rebuilding. Just a father and daughter sitting at a kitchen table, talking about love honestly, without the shadow of betrayal hanging over them. That's the life I chose when I destroyed those barrels. When I wrapped Derek's car in grapevines. When I stopped pretending my marriage was salvageable. I chose truth over comfort, consequences over convenience, self-respect over the path of least resistance. Some people would call that vindictive. Others would call it justice. I just call it the price of being able to look at myself in the mirror. And every morning when I wake up in my small condo, make coffee in my quiet kitchen, and wait for Madison to shuffle out of her purple bedroom on the weeks she's with me, I know I made the right choice. Not the perfect choice. Not the noble choice. Just the one I could live with. And in the end, that's all any of us can do.